Progressive prominent magazine is now apologizing to its readers and vowing to do better for the sin of publishing an article that dared praise some aspects of Tucker Carlson's show following news of his firing by Fox News. Now, you would think you can both be a critic of Tucker's show and believe that this is kind of insane. The article was posted Tuesday by the American Prospect and is entitled "The Smuggest Man on Air, Goodbye for Now to Tucker Carlson, who punctured the lazy pieties of the media class." The writers praised Carlson's irreverence toward elites and his willingness to challenge those on what they said were both the left and right of the political establishment by asking tough questions, while other more mainstream media outlets clutched their pearls at his provocations against the status quo. He tapped into populist insights, cutting through left and right echo chambers and putting hard questions to corporate executives and members of the political establishment. Tucker's willingness to challenge and mock ruling elites went alongside an obsessively nativist message that alienated viewers who might otherwise have embraced his populist perspective. And it goes on and on. The letter does. Now, I would argue the notion that Tucker somehow cut through the right-wing echo chamber is silly, that he became the leader of a far right-wing echo chamber. But hey, that's just an opinion. You may agree or disagree. But for daring to publish a nuanced article on Carlson, the magazine was roundly criticized by its liberal readers for being too positive about someone who's a reviled figure on the left. Now, that's to be expected. What's not expected was what the magazine did next. The editor then published a fawning apology, which reads in part, quote, "I don't have to agree with everything that runs on the site. I certainly knew this would be controversial, but it's my job as an editor to make sure that whatever journalism or opinion we publish upholds our mission. For those who are disappointed in or angered by the story, I can only say that I respect your view and will work hard to earn back whatever trust has been lost. What I cannot do is turn back time." An apology for allowing two writers to have an opinion that differs with many of their readers. Apologizing for not engaging in the very left-wing echo chamber that the writers were critiquing. Again, I am not here to defend Tucker Carlson. As those of you who have watched this show know, I've criticized what I consider to be his more insane and indefensible positions. But I also own several media entities which sometimes publish things I don't agree with at all, on both sides. And when people complain, I'm not going to apologize for a writer's opinion unless there's a factual error. Rather than challenging their audience, they fear them, much the way, by the way, Fox News did in the aftermath of 2020. And this is how we get extremism. There's no room for nuance. There's no room for other points of view. Joining me now, John Ziegler, conservative commentator and host of the Death of Journalism podcast. He has also been someone who's been critical of Tucker Carlson as of late. John, what did you make of this apology from the editor here?
Dan, this story is a great illustration of why journalism is now effectively dead. Basically, what has happened is that fragmentation has killed the business model of most media outlets. And what used to be consumers of news are now treated like customers at a restaurant, where the customer is always right. And that can't be the way it is with a news outlet if the truth is going to matter. Because it's not about whether or not you liked the meal, and if you didn't like it, we apologize and we take it off the menu. The truth has to matter here. The truth is no longer the coin of the realm, or even an opinion that seems to go against your target demographic is no longer the coin of the media realm. Popularity with your target demographic is what matters. And what's really insidious, Dan, it's not just popularity with your target demographic. It's making sure you don't upset your target demographic in any sort of way. And it's not just isolated to this particular outlet. The New York Times does this now, although not as dramatically and not as overtly, but routinely they edit stories in reverse if woke Twitter complains loudly enough about it, because they don't want to upset their core demographic, their customer base. And this is why we can't have nice things in the media anymore. This is why you can't tell the truth, because sometimes the truth is going to make people you are appealing to uncomfortable. You have to be willing to do that to be a journalist. But very few people are willing to do that, and very few outlets are willing to stand by them if they do that, Dan.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.